As we get closer and closer to that all-elusive September 21st release date, the hype for Payday 3 keeps growing and growing, with more details getting revealed about the game, but not all of the details have been positive. Which is why I've made this video, because honestly, I'm excited yet worried about Payday 3. So far the gameplay trailers we've been given have been absolutely amazing. The gameplay reveal trailer we got back in June was absolutely packed to the brim with promise, showing that the game is going to be going back to its roots, similar to that of Payday the Heist and early Payday 2, with new and improved mechanics. And the recent stealth trailer looks to show that stealth in Payday 3 is going to be an excellent evolution of what was before. The developer diaries have been great too, letting us see more about the game as well as what the developers themselves have to say about different things, which is quite nice as we get to see their reasonings behind additions to the game, as well as teasing what we may see that they haven't actually shown us yet. The game also seems to be going with the lesser scale of player power, with the developers confirming that the Inspire skill won't be returning, and that the skills that have been shown so far seem to be way less powerful than the skills we have in modern Payday 2, being things like using a medic bag will restore you for more health, which is great because it will mean we most likely won't see the absurd amount of power creep that we got due to the powerful skills that got added into the game. Payday 3 will also be running on the Unreal Engine, which means that there'll be way less of the diesel engine jank we've had to deal with over the years, and developing content will be a lot easier for the developers, as content can be easily ported between each platform. Fun fact about Payday 2 and the diesel engine: it cannot use up more than 4 GB of your RAM, and it's why the game becomes incredibly unstable if you set your textures to high, because the game just simply can't store the textures in that 4 GB. Starbreeze have also actually announced a closed beta for Payday 3, lasting between the 2nd to the 7th of August for PC and Xbox, but sadly not PlayStation, for some reason. This is a pretty good sign that the game's in a decent enough state to be played and tested across both PC and console. However, of course, I cannot be 100% sure on that, because it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that Starbreeze once again rush out something that isn't even in a good playable state, but we'll only be able to tell once people have actually played the beta. Now, one thing that's come out about Payday 3 that people have been worried about is the fact that Payday 3 will be always online. Now, a lot of people are worried about this, but what exactly does always online mean, and why is it such a big deal? To properly understand what always online means and why it's such a big deal, we should first look at Payday 2 and how its online functionalities work as a point of reference. Whenever you start at Payday 2, your machine will only connect to one server, the matchmaking server. If your machine can't connect to it, that's that. You just simply can't play online. The game is still able to be played, but you just can't play online multiplayer. Knowing this, Payday 3 is pretty much the exact opposite. The game will start, make a connection to a server, and if it can't make that connection, you can't play the game at all. There is no option to play without a connection. Now this of course is its own can of worms, with multiple reasons for and against this addition to the game. Starbreeze benefit from this being a form of anti-piracy, so people have to legitimately purchase the game to be able to play it, as it can check whether or not it can be verified when connecting to the servers. Cross-progression across platforms becomes easier to manage, as the game is always able to back up your save onto the cloud. However, for the players, it only really spells bad news. The big thing about Payday 3 being always online is that it isn't actually always online, it's only online for as long as the servers are up for it. It's an extreme example, but imagine yourself in 40 or so years, right? And you decide you want to play Payday 3 for a nostalgia trip. You boot up the game and, oh, the servers went offline. You can't play the game you paid money for years ago. It's an extreme example, but this can be made even worse based upon how the game is handled, as the servers could go offline who knows how soon after release. 15 years? 10 years? 5 years? We don't know. It's also worth noting that this will also affect Steam Deck players. I find it a little bit strange that they're going with an always online model, especially after the release of the Steam Deck, as people playing on the deck won't always be able to play, because they might be out somewhere where there isn't an internet connection, making Starbreeze miss out on a decent amount of players on that front. Moving on from that potentially massive issue, I have a few other concerns about Payday 3, but most of these are pretty trivial in comparison to the always online model. Payday 3 has been confirmed to run on a client-server model instead of a peer-to-peer model like Payday 2 did. And if you don't know what either of those things mean, in a peer-to-peer model, whenever you join a game, you connect to the host machine and your machine sends data to and receives data from the host machine. In a client-server model, they will have everyone connect to a server, the host included, which they will send data to and receive data from. Weighing up the benefits and downsides of the client-server model or the peer-to-peer model is a massive point of debate, but I personally like the change because it'll be able to reduce the chance of desync happening drastically, as it doesn't rely upon the power of the host's internet connection. But, however, it does have its downsides similar to that of the always online model, as once those servers go offline, say goodbye to multiplayer. One of the pre-order bonuses being to have access to the Season Pass also doesn't inspire that much confidence in me. I like the idea of a Season Pass. Being able to pay up front once and receive multiple DLCs at a reduced cost compared to buying them all individually is great, as it helps reduce the pretty harsh investment costs you see for games like Payday 2 to be able to have all the content. But the Season Pass being put alongside as a pre-order bonus just doesn't make me think they have that much faith in the content inside those DLCs, and they need to shoehorn it into pre-order bonuses so it will sell. That's all I really have to say though. As it stands at the moment, Payday 3 is looking very promising, albeit with a very big issue of offline play. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say though, so feel free to drop a comment and share your thoughts on the game so far, or even on any of my own views I've shared in this video. Anyway though, I've been Cookie Dough, and have a good one.